Hello, welcome back. Doing another talking while trucking. Last time we went from somewhere in the Netherlands, I think, to Reims, and I like not going to England because England is annoying and they drive on the other side of the road, so I'm not used to where I'm supposed to be all the time. So I'm just going to go between France and again and go to Reims and Calais, I think it is. I'm not sure. I used to know how that was pronounced. It's nice to just stay on the right side of the road instead of having to switch to England's fancy way of going on the wrong side of the road. How do I get out of here? Thank you. So, I am going to England soon, and I discussed this in the first video that I have never gone out of the country. At least not really in any meaningful way because I don't think Canada counts. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like where I would actually like to go. Because Birmingham, no offense to any Birminghamians or whatever you guys call yourselves, or really any English person, is that I never really wanted to go to England. It's never been like a place that like necessarily stands out to me. I mean, I'm sure London is very nice, and I won't be seeing it. But something about it is that it's too familiar. And I think that's actually probably a good reason why you should go, actually, because of all the places to travel to. They speak English, and I don't speak any other language other than some Spanish that I haven't spoken conversationally in many years. I've taken up to Spanish 4, what we call Spanish 4 here, and I just haven't actually spoken to any actual Mexican or any Spanish person. I never had to actually translate or really speak in any meaningful way. And I kind of use random words every once in a while to try to keep myself up and remember the conjugations, but I kind of don't remember all the conjugations or all the verbs or all the weirdness that some of the verbs have or even some of the words, so a bit rusty on that. I would like to promote here Duolingo. Duolingo is really cool. I used it a couple times to try to like do Spanish and German. It's cool. The one thing I don't like about it is that, or at least on the app that I used, I've used it online, and I didn't use it much online, but I had used its app a lot, is that it's contextless, if that makes sense. So basically when I was messing around with looking at German, it just tells you things. Like it's like which one of these makes sense. Like, and German has words like the words are like die, das, der, etc. Stuff like that. And so you would get a lot of questions like der blank, and then or like blank Fraulein. Something. What is this? What is this? Do I have to pay a fee? What is it? I've never seen this. I do have to pay a fee. Where am I going? Is this a toll road? Huh. I've never seen one of these when I'm playing this. Anyway. Here's a toll road. Keep the ticket. Anyway. So, they would tell you that, and I never got any context as to what each thing meant. Like in Spanish, you learn L is masculine, los is the plural of L, so multiple masculine things, or at least one masculine thing. Spanish is like male dominated. Like, if you have one male and like tons of female, you still use the male form. Anyway, you would learn la and las and stuff. But with Duolingo, at least again, when I saw it, was that it just told me that like Fraulein is woman and whatever the form it had is what it had. but I never really was told. They never sit you down and like have a video or something explaining it. They just ask you questions with a lot of like blanks in it, and you just pick the one. And eventually, I kind of just had it memorized which one that Fraulein or Mann or other things used. So I never really learned like what German adjectives, no, articles actually were and how they were really used. I don't know what der is or die or das. I know it means the, and certain ones it's correct, and one of them I think is feminine. But Duolingo never took the time to actually sit down and like explain what the difference is, along with other verb conjugations. Oh yeah, like verb conjugations in German, it would just be like, well, is this one correct or not? And I would say like, yes, or this is the conjugation you should use. And at a certain point, I realized like one's singular, but again, they never told me what it was. So, I do like Duolingo. I don't know if it's perfect. Water went down my throat incorrectly. That's not good. But I think it can be useful to actually learn a different language or brush up on languages that you know. I think online they might have more resources. Or at least you should take like a grammar book and like take it with you and read about the book and all the different grammar rules that they have, and then apply it to Duolingo. Because the other thing Duolingo has is they have like, listen to this person, which I think is a really, really good thing that I really needed to have learned more in Spanish class, because that is really important that you listen to people who actually speak Spanish or whatever language you might be learning, because they obviously speak it much more natural and much more fast. Plus, it really helps. So I highly recommend actually focusing on oral language when you take a language class, because they will learn it better than you. The best way to learn a language really is kind of like immersion. A lot of people will tell you this. Also, this is like £1,000 to fill this up. That is a lot of money. Those aren't pounds, those are euros. I know my stuff. Okay, I'm not like a standard American that didn't know. I just completely forgot. Anyway. So I do recommend Duolingo, and I really recommend actually paying attention to oral language. But the best way to learn a language is the way you first learned your first language, which is you were immersed in it. You were a baby, and your parents spoke it, and you somehow learned your language through that. This is why it's actually, the best time to learn a language. The best time to learn a language is when... I really just slammed into that guardrail. The best time to learn is when you're younger. You can actually like pick up, your mind is more malleable to different languages. But as you get older, you can still very much learn languages. It's not an impossible thing to do. So I think, you just need to immerse yourself in it. And that's why studying abroad is really good. Obviously not everyone can afford that, so that might not be an option for you. But apart from that, I really do recommend Duolingo. I also recommend Mango Languages. I don't recommend Rosetta Stone so much, because from what I understand, Rosetta Stone is a lot of repetition, which is not really a good thing. You're not really learning like how to think in that language. You're just learning repetition. I would like to pay my toll, please. Thank you. Because there's this thought experiment called the Chinese computer, or at least the Chinese room, something like that. And let's say you have a man sitting in a room and he has a book filled with endless Chinese phrases. He has on the left, like each page has two columns. One has a Chinese phrase on the left, and the other has a response on the right. And the column with all the Chinese phrases contains literally every single phrase you could ever say in Chinese. So that means if you said something in Chinese, if you told this man a Chinese phrase, he would go to the book, look up the Chinese phrase, and give you a response that makes sense. And then the question is, does this man speak Chinese? Because if your definition of Chinese is that, they can speak Chinese and, conversationally, then this man can do that. He can take any phrase you say and give you a response. Anything at all. He will respond to you, and it will make sense. So you could carry on a full conversation with him. But no, most people would say that no, he doesn't speak Chinese. He's just looking up a chart. And I would agree. The way that you know a language is through like intelligence and being able to like reference in your mind what it's supposed to say. You're supposed to know its grammar rules and it's the different ways things work together. A lot of people would say, like, I don't know, you're not supposed to split infinitives in English or something, which is a really stupid rule. But things like that. Like, you're actually actively trying to avoid doing that. You can say, like, if someone says, how are you? You recognize by their tone and by the usage of the word how that it's a question. You can say, oh, how? Okay, well, how means, like, the method at which you do something, And how are, are, oh yeah, are is a form of be, be is, was, are, and then you, oh, you, he's saying you, so that's me. So you have, your mind is doing that, so, you're actually saying in your mind that you have this step of logic that says, how are you? How am I? I am good. You learn how to rephrase questions back. That's how you answer questions. Questions are in the reverse. I am good. How are you? How am I? The opposite of how am I is I am good. Replace how. But with the Chinese man, with the book that has all the phrases, he doesn't do that. You could ask him, how are you in Chinese? And he doesn't know that. He can go to a book and then give you an answer that makes sense and says, I am good in Chinese, but he isn't taking any kind of effort in his mind to actually translate it and respond in Chinese. That's the difference. And from what I understand about Rosetta Stone, it's very much repetition. So you're not learning things to think about it critically. You're just learning that, like, water is eau in French and stuff like that, which I don't think is necessarily the best. And again, this is what I've heard about language, about Rosetta Stone. So, but I've heard it's really not worth what you have to pay for Rosetta Stone. And Duolingo's free, as it should be probably, because it's not completely. You're not going to learn, I think, to speak conversationally using just Duolingo. But I think it's a very good resource to catch up on. So what I would recommend, if you ever want to learn a language, I would find a book that has really good ratings and is often said to be a good book for learning, and like use that in reference with Duolingo. And I also wanted to talk about, it's called Mango Languages. My college had given me this for free, and I didn't really do much of it. I did a little bit of Arabic, just a very small amount, and it was really good. I feel like it worked its way up, and it gave good examples, and it explained things why they were. So I would like to give a little shout out to Mango Languages. I don't know how much they are or if they're worth it, but I had it for free and I thought it was fine for being free. This was years ago, so I don't really remember too much about Arabic, but I thought it was very well put together. I do know there is some language thing, and I completely forget its name, but this guy is like a linguist or something, and he developed this this program that like is really hardcore, and like people can learn languages super quick with it. And I wish I remembered its name, because like everyone talks about it as being really good, and that people use it all the time and learn it within weeks, conversationally, for business reasons. So I should look at what that is, because that really interests me. I remember looking it up and it was like expensive. Oh no, it was expensive, but why did I hit? I'm gonna hit this hedge, but yeah, I would recommend that because everyone likes that. I think that would be the best one probably, but I think it was expensive, and from what I understand, it's really hardcore, and you really have to like actually want to learn it and pay attention. But if you want to learn a language, then I guess that's the quickest way. I'm not gonna make this turn. Oh, I don't know how truckers do that. I honestly don't, and I've seen trucks that are like twice the size of this, and they just take these turns like nothing. See, that's a good turn. That's a good turn, me. Great job. I found a truck dealer. I don't really know what all this stuff is on the side. Can I, like, make right turns? No, I stopped. I stopped. I stopped. You didn't need to find me. I stopped. Oh. Am I stuck? Am I stuck? No. No. Come on. I'm good, right? I'm good. I'm good. Come on. You got this. Come on. Yeah. Going to deliver my Euro goodies. Oh yeah, let's not mess up this turn. Hey, there we go. And I'm awful at parking, so haha. Oh, I delivered tomatoes. Oh well, I got a little bit of damage. Anyway, what do I want? I want longer distances, I think. Because I like just going to new places, and I want to avoid going to England as much as possible. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I kind of helped you determine what services you want to use for your English. Not English. For any kind of language purposes. Anyway, see you. Bye.